There are some movies that sit in the closet for hours on end, years, decades, and you pull it out and you think, man, this is a real found treasure right here. Oh man, I was missing out. This is just one of those tapes. There's Big Daddy, starring Adam Sandler. Let's check it out, people.
Hello, popcorn delivery.
Put a little weekend in your week. Rent a video.
So if you know one thing about me, it's probably that I'm a big simp for Adam Snadler, one of the funniest comedians alive. I've been called a basic bitch for liking Adam Sandler and Rob Schneider, Mike Myers, Dana Corvey, but I think you're a lot more basic if you like garbage Edgar Wright movies like Hot Fuzz. Oh mate, we're some British cops. We're gonna shake you down.
What's this?
What even was that? But yeah, you're far more basic if you like Edgar Wright. You actually have really good, refined taste if you're into fun American comedies like Big Daddy. Man, oh man, is this one of the best Adam Sandler comedies, classic Adam Sandler comedies. So, if you don't like his later stuff, if you don't like Click, if you don't like Jack and Jill, tell me you like this, right? This classic Sandler right here. I don't think Adam Sandler can ever lose his charm. He's one of the funniest guys alive, and every Adam Sandler comedy is just knocking it out of the park. Like, I remember I was forced to go watch Pixels one time when it was in theaters, and I was like, I'm probably not going to like this, because as you may have heard, I'm not much of a gamer. But it had Adam Sandler, so, I just couldn't hate it. I shouldn't have liked Pixels as much as I did, but, it is like the only Adam Sandler comedy of the 2010s, except Jack and Jill, one of my all-time favorite movies. And of course you got Chuck and Larry, You Don't Mess with the Zohan. There's so many. It's just such an extensive filmography that I really need to explore. This is the only Adam Snadler comedy I got, I think. Hopefully you can get The Water Boy and with Billy Madison on tape, because all the good Adam Snadler comedies are on VHS, and that's a real positive. You can get all these on VHS. But enough about Adam Snadler's career in general. Big Daddy, what a gosh darn movie. This is just a swell flick, beginning to end. It's great. It says it's 93 minutes. For some reason, it seems like the running time they give on the back of VHSs is always a little bit off. I think they either count the previews or count the ending credits or something. I mean, I never count the ending credits in the running time of a movie. I count the opening credits, but I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah. So the back description here says, 32-year-old Sonny Koufax Adam Sandler has spent his whole life avoiding responsibility. But when his girlfriend dumps him for an older man, he's got to find a way to prove he's ready to grow up. In a desperate last-ditch effort, Sonny adopts 5-year-old Julian to impress her. She's not impressed, and he can't return the kid. Uh-oh for Sonny. That's a very short description. It's very vague. I don't know. It's crazy to think that this is before Wikipedia, because every Wikipedia page's description of a movie is always very different from the description on the back of the VHS box, and that is of course because Wikipedia pages are entirely neutral, whereas a VHS description has got to make the movie sound as appealing and likable as possible. It's very weird. I sometimes wonder what the world would be like if Wikipedia never existed and everyone judged movies based on the descriptions on the back of VHS boxes. Some people make fun of me, you know, when I there's a movie that I don't want to watch, so I just look at the Wikipedia page and I get a good idea of it. Like, a Wikipedia page is a perfectly okay thing to get a general idea of a movie or TV show or something from, because it's entirely neutral and it's written by volunteers who can't put a positive spin on things. But like, man, VHS descriptions, they're just crazy. And this one isn't even accurate. It says that, like, his girlfriend dumps him for the old guy first before he gets the kid, which isn't accurate. And also, he doesn't adopt the kid is dumped on him by his friend. So, like, it sounds like he initiates the adoption, which isn't how it works. I mean, admittedly, that might make for a funnier movie, but I think what they're going for is to make Mr. Snadler a hapless player in a game of, you know, beyond his control rather than some kind of master manipulator. So, I don't know, this description just isn't accurate.
Now, to win her back,
I gotta do something big with my life.
he's getting her a little surprise.
I want you to meet Julian, my son. Our son, I adopted him.
But that has no bearing on the absolute quality of this movie. This is an absolute banger. I remember watching this as a youth, and I was just like, man, oh man, Mr. Snadler sure is a top 10 pro comedy whiz. Like, he's just a bad, you know, like, anyone who thinks Adam Sandler isn't funny, grow up, learn what humor is. This is a funny movie right here. And, you know, I think it's PG-13. Yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of, one thing about Adam Sandler movies, of course, is that there's always a lot of product placement, but you kind of ignore it. You don't even really notice it's there because the jokes are just so well written. Just like how a Farrelly Brothers comedy is the only type of comedy that'll get me to laugh at, like, shit or something, an Adam Sandler comedy is the only type of comedy that'll really get me to accept product placement. I mean, it's just so well integrated into the movie's universe. And this movie, of course, has the epic routine about McDonald's breakfast, and of course, there's also product placement for Yoo-Hoo
With a little rum.
and Hooters in here, oddly enough. But you know, it's kind of a thing across all of Mr. Snadler's movies. In Little Nicky, of course, you have the narrative incorporation of Popeye's chicken, and then in Jack and Jill, my favorite product placement in any Adam Sandler movie, Dunkachino. You gotta watch it to believe it. I got to see it in the theaters and, like, mind blown, just with how absolutely hilarious that was. It doesn't make me want to shop at Dunkin' Donuts, but I'm like, holy shit, Al Pacino's hilarious, like, jeez. But yeah, this one has the interesting McDonald's breakfast routine where, you know, they're going to get McDonald's breakfast, and nowadays, of course, you know, you can get the sausage, egg, McMuffin, whatever you want at McDonald's. And I recall for a year or something, you know, before they introduced the all-day breakfast, there was something called breakfast after midnight, where you could get a sausage, egg, McMuffin at like 3 a.m. if anyone was up that late, which, like, you know, why even just go early? But now they got all day the breakfast. And at the time this film was made, geez, you had to go before 10:30. You know, that's very 90s for you. Or heck, I remember when you had to wait until 10:30. I remember when it was like 2015-ish. I don't know when they introduced the breakfast after midnight thing, but there's an interesting bit where Adam Sandler says, you know, back in my day, we didn't have the breakfast menu. We just had burgers and fries. So it's very, you know, crazy, the temporal logic of it all. But I mean, and you got a really good supporting cast in this. I don't even remember either of them in this, but this guy's freaking Steve Buscemi.
You want me a sausage McMuffin?
And Rob Schneider. Like,
Keep Pop Anonymous?
freaking Rob Schneider. Like, is a box office blockbuster right here. It's got Rob Schneider, one of the funniest comedians of the 90s. And unfortunately, now he's become an anti-vaxxer, so I can't endorse him anymore. But much like with Chev Chase, you know, he used to be really funny. He's in some good stuff. Generally, a good test you can take to tell whether you have a well-developed sense of humor or not is to watch Edgar Wright's comedy Shaun of the Dead, and then watch a real comedy like Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigalow. That's what I suggest. And see which one you think is funnier. And if you think Shaun of the Dead is funnier, then congratulations. You don't know what a real comedy is. You don't know what real comedians are, because Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, they aren't funny, like, at all. But Rob Schneider is a freaking gut-busting riot, and in this he plays the wacky delivery man sidekick. It's just so good, you know. And, you know, I hate New York, but this movie's set in New York. Adam Sandler's a freaking laugh riot. The product placement for Hooters is a little weird, but this was the golden age of that being societally acceptable, I suppose. You know, that short-lived Hooters Airlines thing.
Do you know why our beer is so cold here at Hooters? Because we keep it in the refrigerator.
But, no, it's just really weird. Now, oddly enough, the youngster in this, Julian, is played by twins, or maybe it's brothers, because there's the end scene where he's a little older, so maybe they're not twins, maybe they're like a year apart. Heck, I don't know how 90s twin groups work. I don't know about the Olsen twins. I don't know which one of them is older, if they're the same age or what. But Cole Sprouse and Dylan Sprouse, it lists both of them here in the back, so I don't know. But that's interesting. Like, I never would have guessed. Like, you know, provided they are siblings, obviously they'll have very similar acting style. You want some good child acting? Like, this is where it's at. Like, I buy this kid. Like, every scene he's in, it's like, yeah, you know, he's a convincing actor. Is better than, like, isn't better than A Christmas Story. Like, let's not kid ourselves. This is one of let's not kid ourselves. This is one of the finest child actors. I wonder what happened to him in his later years. Probably went the way of every other child actor. Did Macaulay Culkin. Now he's drunk and looks like a wino behind Walmart. But, you know, it was good while it lasted. This is something that should be on a filmography if there ever was one. And of course, Adam Sandler. Man, oh man, just what an absolute brilliant auteur. Now, of course, he wrote the screenplay for this, along with Steve Franks and a guy named Tim Herlihy, who I assume has something to do with the Herlihy boy. And there's also the old man character in this, named Mr. Herlihy, and he's also in The Wedding Singer. So that's kind of weird. I don't know exactly what's going on with all these Herlihys popping up, but you know, it is interesting. I wonder where that name came from and why Adam Snadler uses it to craft one of his most infamous characters.
Hi, hello. Are you good?
That said, there's just some really, really good routines in here. Like, it's really a laugh a minute. Like, it's a movie where, you know, there's just like such good jokes and fun prop gags and, you know, just, oh, gosh. Like, I remember seeing this when I was like 8 and I was like, man, Adam Sandler, that's where it's at. This may have been actually the first movie I saw him in before I saw The Waterboy and Little Nicky, before I got to see Jack and Jill in theaters. I think this might have been my first exposure to the guy, except maybe some of the SNL sketches he was in. If you like classic Adam Sandler stuff, this might be your deal. It's probably not as good as Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, whoever. Everyone says those are the two best, but like, I seriously doubt it. Like, the man is a gold mine of comedy. I don't think anything he's done is necessarily the best. I think it's pretty much a golden career from Heck, Happy Gilmore all the way to Jack and Jill. I think Jack and Jill was kind of his last good movie. Like, Pixels was okay, but like Jack and Jill, this is a swan song, you know, but just a very nice movie. And of course, the infamous urination scene is every bit as hilarious as you may have been told it is. It's just so well crafted. And it was a very heartwarming Adam Snadler movie. And this one, you know, he's done Happy Gilmore, he's done Billy Madison, so he decides he wants to, you know, do a more heartfelt role. Not a dramatic one, not like frickin' Uncut Gems. Oh man, I'm Adam Snadler, the frickin' mobster. But you know, he tries to be this nice, you know, just tries to be a tearjerker, and he really does. He's just such a convincing actor. Like, you buy him as this out of luck loser, as just this absolute degenerate scum of the earth, but he has a very nice character arc. Over the course of the movie, you see him develop a bit, you know, grow from an irresponsible, you know, freaking dumpster fire to, you know, a pretty mature guy, and you know, a good character arc movie. That's kind of rare for an Adam Snadler film. Admittedly, he doesn't grow much, because the entire movie only takes place over 6 weeks, and at the end, you know, I don't remember Rob Schneider being in this at all. You'd think I would, but I don't remember Steve Buscemi being in it either. The scenes with Steve Buscemi are great. Solid film. And like, you know, I'd say this is a good entry point to Adam Snadler's career before you get into the really heavy stuff, The Waterboy, and you know, the more thought-provoking ones. This is what you want to watch if you want a nice, it's a pretty smooth movie, all things considered. Yeah, I don't know why the description on the back of this is so inaccurate, but I don't know, Columbia TriStar, they pumped out so many hits back in the 90s, and this is an absolute jam. Of particular note, not only are Rob Schneider and Steve Buscemi great as the supporting characters, but you've also got the gay couple, and it's just so great. I really like that. And this is before I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, you know, so Mr. Sandler, being the provocative auteur he is already going for the jugular with these themes of homosexuality in freaking 1999.
You two want to get married? I support that. Leave me alone.
So we're talking some pretty ahead of its time comedy. The gay couple in this is really nice. It's just very, I don't know, it's very good. There's a lot of fun. Jon Stewart's in this, jeez. How many stars can you pack into? Who is Jon Stewart? I don't even really know what Jon Stewart looks like. I know he's funny. Well, I don't think he's that funny, but geez, who was he? Was he the dad? I don't know. But yeah, it's just great, because Adam Sandler's really flexing his acting muscles here, pretending to be a father, and you know, you don't see too much of that out of him. Obviously, Adam Sandler wouldn't be a very good father, you know, because he's this wacky degenerate, but like, gosh, that's just what makes this comedy so good. This is good situational comedy, on the big screen, no less. It takes a very interesting premise. You know, what if this absolute loser of a man, this absolute washed up, moldy ass pizza of a guy was forced to accept responsibility for a youngster, and you know, the result is interesting to say the least. Like, you know, he doesn't do anything that, you know, all things considered, he's a pretty okay father figure, and you really think, man, you know, I didn't know Adam Snadler had it in him to be so responsible and raise a youngster all by himself, but he's taking the initiative. Just one of the things which makes Adam Snadler so gosh darn likable, so gosh darn appealing. Like, this man has serious star power, and thank gosh movies like this came out on VHS, because, you know, if they hadn't, who knows what could happen. Yeah. But yeah, this is a gosh darn solid film right here. This is the kind of movie you want to pop in and check it out and have a look at all the interesting cameos and stuff. Like, I didn't even know Jon Stewart. I didn't even notice him. Jeez. But you know, I wasn't looking, but he's in the credits, so obviously it was a pretty big role. So I don't know. I'll have to look it up after, but after I finish this review. And what else could be said? The sets are very nice. All the locations look very, very nice. The shots with the product placement are very, you know, you got the product in there. It doesn't miss it. The 3-act structure is followed very closely here. You know, you got the first few scenes which establish Sonny as this washed up, total failure of an adult who doesn't know what his life is and has no initiative. And then the inciting incident, of course. You know, Julian shows up at his door, and then the first few scenes he's like, eh. And then, you know, over the course of the next hour or so, he learns to like the kid. And then the kid gets taken away from him. I said I wasn't going to do spoilers, but who cares? The kid gets taken away from him and given to his absolute degenerate friend, who it turns out is even more of a degenerate than he is. But that degenerate friend is also Julian's real father. And in the end, you see Adam Snadler and Rob Schneider walking away from the camera, just talking about life, two buds on the rag, you know? And so it follows the 3-act structure very well. Setup, inciting incident, movie, and then you got the climax and the resolution. I like that. This movie has some very, you know, the screenplay is by flipping Adam Snad himself along with 2 other guys, so, you know, obviously, solid goal. Adam Snadler knows how to write his own gosh darn comedies. He doesn't need no flipping A24 and flipping, what are they, Safdie Bros to write his comedies for him. He's best when he writes his own comedies. Safdie Bros, get the heck out of here. You don't know how to make a movie. But yeah, I mean, it's not directed by Adam Snad or produced by him. The story isn't by him. But he is an executive producer, so there's that. You know, I feel maybe it would have been a little better if it was directed by him, but I can't say too many bad things about this movie. Adam Snadler's an absolute gem of a guy, and gosh, is he just an absolute creme de la creme, laugh, chuckle, riot, just a snazzy guy. Just, you know, I can't hate an Adam Snadler comedy. Like, what the shit did you expect? But yeah, I'm real glad I have this sucker in my collection. It's just such a solid movie. Like, there's so much fun prop work in this, like the bit where he puts milk into the lotion bottle so it doesn't make a mess, or the newspaper bit, or the bit with the Scuba Sam costume. Gosh golly. And, Adam Snadler, he really gets into character as Scuba Sam. Like, you're like, man.
Hi, Julian. How you doing?
And, you know, obviously Sonny Koufax isn't any different from Adam Snadler. Let's not kid ourselves here. Every Adam Snadler character is the same Adam Snadler. They're all the same guy. Like, you know, Jim Carrey, you know, he can be like 100 different, you know, he can be 100 different people, but when it comes to Adam Snadler, you go for what's expected. You don't try and turn Adam Snadler into this hard-boiled jewel dealer who's frickin' edged out and pissed off, and he's got a day to win, and he's with his Jewish family, and they're saying prayers over the dinner table, and then he goes to his girlfriend and they make out, and oh shit, you know, that's what you do if you're losers like the Safdie Bros and you don't know how to use Adam Snadler correctly.
You've resurfaced your fucking swimming pool. You know how that makes me feel? Never resurface anything. I don't know who said that.
You know, Adam Snadler is good when he's playing Adam Snadler, not some weird Al Pacino wannabe jewel heist in, you know, the big city. Oh dang, it's Uncut Gems. Did I give Uncut Gems a positive review a year ago? Yeah, sorry, I hate that piece of shit. After watching a good, solid Adam Snadler movie like this, I'm like, what did I ever like Uncut Gems for? It's not good. Like, stop kidding myself. Uncut Gems is not near as good as anyone cracks it up to be. And no, Adam Snadler isn't convincing as this hard-boiled jewel store owner. He's freaking Adam Snadler, alright? He's not freaking Scarface. Jeez. But yeah, this is just a very smart movie, and the urination bit might be one of the most well-remembered bits of Adam Snadler's career. Right up there with the funny bit in Happy Gilmore where he tries and blows on the ball, and, you know, the water boy and all that, and the funny afro scene. You know, there's an iconic image right here. You know, it's not as heartfelt as The Wedding Singer. This isn't The Wedding Singer, you know, this isn't sappy romance. And, you know, I like The Wedding Singer. It's a funny movie. It's a funny show, but like this is better. Like, let's not kid ourselves. The Wedding Singer's okay. Like, it's a perfectly passable Adam Sandler comedy, but this has got it all right here. This is Adam Sandler at his best. You got these very nice, you know, just, he's got a special method of delivery where he screams a lot and he says a lot of offensive stuff, and it's just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. And the ways in which he delivers these lines are just epic. So yeah, and Steve Buscemi's really nice in this too. I like Steve Buscemi. He's a funny guy. What else is he in? He's in Big Fish. But yeah, Steve Buscemi's in some good stuff. And of course, Rob Schneider just bringing that bacon, bringing it home, you know, like, gosh. I don't even remember Rob Schneider in this, but like, gosh darn. And it's great to find this absolute VHS treasure. And I'm really glad I still have it. It plays in mint condition, and just what an absolute blast to revisit Snadler's career 22 years later and check it out, man. You know, I find it very interesting that there are a lot of repeating characters in the Adam Snadler verse, like Rob Schneider's You Can Do It guy in Little Nicky is apparently from another Adam Snadler movie, either Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore, I forget which. And then the old guy in Big Daddy is also in The Wedding Singer. At least I think so. It might be a different actor, but I think they're supposed to be the same character. I don't know. Who knows, with an absolute, you know, just genius like Adam Snad at the helm. Like, he's always one step ahead of you. But yeah, and if you think this whole review was just a joke, no, it's actually not. Adam Snadler is one of the funniest guys to ever live, and if you don't believe that, then you know, bite me. You might have a little repressed anti-Semitism right there, because like, funny gosh darn guy. But yeah. So that said, who am I kidding? What do you think the rating was going to be? 5 stars for Big Daddo.
After the bath, you have to try and study hard. Because if you want to be a member of the scuba squad, you have to be smart.
But yeah, this is just a great movie about what it means to be a father. A great movie for Father's Day or any time. Definitely check this one out. This is peak Sandler right here. It is peak flippin' Sandler. But yeah, that said, that's Big Daddy for you. What more can I say? Good movie, great Sandler film. Really brings his talent, really packs the punch. And while he didn't direct it or produce it, he is an executive producer. So he's got Jon Stewart. Who was Jon Stewart? Like, I don't know. I didn't notice Jon Stewart at all. Anyway, that's been a VHS Crazy review of Big Daddy, one of the finest Snadler comedies of all time. If you'd like to support these reviews, if you like what you saw here today, then leave that like, leave that sub, and most importantly, write to Nicholas, Cicada, 1424 Columbine Street, number 1, Denver, Colorado, 80206, if you want to buy some snazzy Nicholas comics. They're the finest comics in the Denver metropolitan area. Sure to bring a chuckle to your face, or anyone's face. You can give them as a gift. You can ask me to gift wrap them even. I'll do that for you. I'll hook you up. That said, this has been VHS Crazy for Big Daddy, and sayonara, suckers.
Okay, peace out.